Had myself on mute there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Connetics USA live show, Onwards and Upwards, everything a global healthcare worker needs to know about living and working in the United States. I am your host, Danielle Friedman, and I am so excited to see everybody this morning. We have a wonderful show, lots of experts for today. We are going to be talking about life in the Wild West. I actually live in the Wild West. I live in California. If any of you are new to tuning in, or maybe you haven't watched in a couple of months, and you are seeing my name, Danielle Friedman, and that makes you remember Tanya Friedman, that is because she is my mother. And she often talks about on these shows how we moved from South Africa when I was a young kid to the United States. We came to California. So I am so excited to personally share my journey with all of you, coming from another country and moving to California and what my life has been like here. So I'm excited to share, and we have a lot of guests who are excited to share. I love to know where our viewers are watching from. I love to see questions from you guys. So please put in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. If any of our stories inspire you, know that our recruiters are on hand. They are waiting for you to apply. We have facilities all over the West and all over the country. We actually have a map that's going to show all of our opportunities. So you see on this map all of the direct hire opportunities in green, the staffing opportunities with our sister company in navy, and direct hire and staffing opportunities in purple. So as you can see, between us and our sister company, O'Grady Payton, we cover all of the United States. So that link to apply is going to be connetixusa.com/apply. And our recruiters are on hand. They are waiting to take your applications. They're excited. So now is the time. So let's see, who do we have watching us? We have Kirby, who's watching us from the Philippines, and she just passed her NCLEX. Congratulations, Kirby. That is amazing. Well, hopefully you can hear all about the opportunities we have in the Wild West, and you will come with Connetics to somewhere in the West. We have Kessia watching from Brazil, Melody saying hi. Hi, Melody. So everybody, please feel free to put your questions and your comments in the chat. So let's bring out our guest this morning. And while we're bringing out our guest, a reminder to everybody that we are going to be doing an IELTS raffle. So we're going to pick one lucky winner who's going to get their IELTS exam covered by Connetics. So we're going to announce that winner at the end of the show. So please stay tuned so that you can find out if you might be that lucky winner. All right. So good morning to all of my lovely guests. So many beautiful faces this morning. I'm so excited. So let's take a quick minute and do some introductions. Tell our viewers why you are on the show and where you live in the Wild West. Let's start with Cornelia.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so I'm currently in California, particularly in Silicon Valley, San Jose. And I came here back in 2021. I worked in the Philippines for 5 years as a staff nurse in a big hospital. And I came here via Connetics, direct hire, and I worked in Central Valley, Hanford, at a COVID unit. And then I just recently, a few months ago, I transferred here in San Jose for a different job. I now work for the state of California.
Okay, very nice, Cornelia. Well, we look forward to hearing all about your journey. Let's have Rana go next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rana Pacoma, and I am one of the onboarding specialists from Connetics, AMN Connetics. I came here to the USA back in 1996, so it's been almost 27 years since I've been living here in the USA. Used to live in California, and then came to Texas when I got married. And I'll be happy to share my experience here since I came here to the USA, to the Wild West.
Thank you, Rana. So you've gone to California and to Texas, so you're going to have a lot of good insight.
Yes.
Let's go with EJ next.
Hello, guys. My name is EJ. I am a OR nurse here in Temple, Texas. I just currently arrived here this year. worked in the Philippines before, and I hope I can share some insight to you uh, about living here in a small city uh, and with a short distance with the big cities around us.
Awesome. Well, we are very excited to have you on, EJ, a new arrival. So you're going to have some good, fresh tips for everybody. And last but certainly not least, we have Adina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adina Kaufman. I'm a senior client account manager with AMN and Connetics. I'm so genuinely happy to be here today. This is one of my favorite highlights of the week, being on the show, watching the show, and now to be on it is really so exciting. I'm also an immigrant. I was born in South Africa. My family moved to Australia, then Houston, Texas, then California. So I've lived in a lot of places. And my husband's one of 5 kids, and he lived in the same house his whole life, also in Los Angeles in California. So we have both perspectives, but I'm just super excited to be here, and we appreciate you tuning in to the Wild Wild West.
Thank you, Adina. We are so excited to have you on. First time on, but hopefully not last. Okay, so let's get started with some questions. And everybody who's watching, please feel free, send us your questions. We would love to make sure we're answering all your questions. So let's get started with you, Cornelia. Why did you want to move to the United States?
First off, because of greener pasture, bigger pay. When I was in the Philippines, I was making $400 a month. So I came here for that big difference in pay. And because I came here with my son, I also want him to be exposed into bigger opportunities, to see different places. It's just a lot different from where I came from. So it's a whole new experience that me and my son wanted to see.
Okay, well, thank you, Cornelia. You know, I hear a lot of the same reasons from a lot of different people, nurses or non-nurses, that they want to move with their families to the US because of more opportunities. You know, America is the land of opportunities. So there are many opportunities and many things that you can do here, many doors open. EJ, why did you decide to move to the United States?
Oh, for me, there's a lot of factors to consider. Um, but one thing that really sticks to me is that US has a lot of not just opportunities for workplace, what Cornelia said, but also for the healthcare. The health
Mhm.
systems here is much more better compared in our country because I have 2 kids, I have my wife, so I'm taking care. I am thinking about them. So how the educations and the healthcare systems would really give us more advantage living here. I think that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, EJ. I think I can see Adina going like this with her head. I think Adina probably feels the same way. Is that right, Adina? Why did you move to the US?
Yeah, no, very similar. My family, I moved when I was little, so my family, we all moved together. But it's the land of opportunity. I think there's so much to achieve here and really be able to change the trajectory of not only yourself professionally, but of your family and the welfare of your family. So it is very, very exciting.
Thank you, Adina. That definitely makes sense. I could see Rana also sitting there going like this. So I think everybody kind of feels the same way. Rana, why did you decide to move to California, and why did you move from California to Texas?
All right. So, Daniel, I came here when I was 17 years old after high school. So, my parents were here and they live in California. And that's the reason why we came to California first, because they were here like since in the 80s. So for us to be together, we have all my siblings, me and my brothers have to be here for us to be together. And of course, for the greener pasture as well. And then when I got married, I moved to Texas because my husband found a job here in Texas. So that's the reason why we moved to Texas for, a better opportunity as well.
That makes sense. Okay, so between all of us, I think we're covering Texas and California. So we got a lot of good insight into Texas and California, which I know are where most of our nurses are probably very interested in. And thankfully, we have a lot of opportunities in both of those states. So that's good news for a lot of our nurses watching. EJ, why did you choose to come to Texas?
Oh well, weather. One
Weather?
thing. Yeah, that's an
You didn't
important
want
factor.
any cold?
Yeah, just like what I said before, this is my first time living outside my country, so I
Hmm.
don't want to experience a lot of changes in terms of weather. So I just
Hmm.
choose Texas first because of it has a similar weather, not just so similar, but it has like the hot seasons where in the Philippines a whole year round season. So that would give me more uh, adjustment to be able to adjust than to move to a place that's extremely different from where I came from.
That makes sense. So weather was definitely a really big factor for you. What else had you heard about Texas that made you want to move to Texas or just made you excited about moving to Texas?
Oh well, a lot of Filipinos are already here, I would say. But when I came
Hmm.
here in Temple, I would say that we only have few Filipinos here, so
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to get to know uh, some same nationalities with you, but it takes time, I would say. Now we're like a big family here. You can go to Walmart and you see a Filipino and just say hi. And right now
Oh.
it's becoming more and more comfortable living here. Uh, I think that's one. Another thing is a Filipino community would really help you a lot, or having a
Hmm.
community where you came
Hmm.
from would really help you a lot to adapt to that where you are
Hmm.
right now.
That makes sense. So it was weather, it was community. Those were some big factors for you in coming to Texas. And sounds like you're happy with the weather and you're very happy with the community. So that's really good to hear. What about you, Cornelia? What did you heard about California and what did it feel like when you got there?
Yeah, same as EJ. I chose California because of the weather. Coming from a tropical country, snow is fun for a vacation, but I just can't see myself living in very harsh winter areas like New York or other parts of the United States. And California generally has a lot of Filipino communities. A lot of Filipinos live here. My family also lives here. When I came here in Central Valley, I stayed with them for a few years. And then, yeah, I just really love it. And it's a lot of if you love nature, there are a lot of parks in California, and Hollywood is here as well, San Francisco. So lots of places to visit. That's why I just love California.
Well, I'm biased too because I also love California. I live in Los Angeles. So Cornelia lives in the northern part of California, and Adina and I live in the southern part of California. So California is a big state, just like Texas. A lot of cities, lot of stuff going on there. So Cornelia, will you tell us a little bit more about life in Northern California? What's it like there?
Oh, it's a lot different from where I came because, in comparison, Central Valley, I came from a very small town, and I just felt I needed some change. I want to see bigger places. I want a nearby airport. So I chose Silicon Valley in San Jose. It's big, a lot more expensive than Central Valley, where I came from, but you can feel the difference of the environment. Everybody is just working really hard. Lots of people too, and this is Silicon Valley is known for tech companies. So Apple is here, eBay is here, Facebook is here. I also chose this part of California because my son is interested in tech. Stanford University is also here, which is also a nice place to visit, take photos. And the weather is generally colder than some parts of California. Southern and central, I believe, are really hot during summer. But in here, summer isn't that hot in comparison to other parts of California. And there's just lots of places to see and more opportunities for me here in Northern California.
Okay, amazing, Cornelia. So I think some of the really good highlights that you shared about Northern California, and I love visiting Northern California. I actually went to San Francisco a couple months ago, and it's such a beautiful, fun city, but it's very green up there. There's a lot of tech up there. The weather is a little bit more mild compared to Southern California. So a lot of really, really enticing things about Northern California. Adina, what is your favorite part about living in Southern California? What would you say?
I love that there's beaches and water and there's lots to do. It's a great place to raise a family. There's a lot of parks. There's a great school system, but you can go to the beach in the same day and then you can drive a couple hours and be in the mountains. So you just have the best of both worlds, but I think it's just a wonderful place to live. It's a really healthy lifestyle. There's a lot of opportunity. And then especially in LA, in Los Angeles, there's the theater and there's lots of things to do. So you just have the best of all worlds. And I have a son who lives in San Francisco. So I'm also really familiar with Northern California. And it's also really a wonderful place to be. I've spent time up there.
It's crazy. You can be in one state and have so much to do and so much to see. I can see Rana is going like this too.
Yeah.
So I'm very similar. There's just California and Texas are some of the two biggest states, although there are other states in the Wild West that we haven't really got to. I think we had a graphic of all of the different states that we were going to be talking about on the Wild West show today. But it's all of the states on the western half of the United States. You see that all in green. So it's that Washington, Montana, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Alaska. That was a mouthful, but that is a lot of different states, and that's a lot of different areas to cover. Adina, I'm sure a lot of nurses are wondering, what are their opportunities in some of these states? Do we have employers who are hiring right now?
Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities. So please definitely reach out to your recruiters in all the states Danielle just mentioned. We're consistently doing hiring events. There's so much opportunity between Connetics and between O'Grady Payton together with AMN. So please reach out to your recruiters, all the different specialties, there's acute facilities, skilled nursing. There's many different options depending on what you're interested in. So we're so excited that you're here and you can learn a little bit more about the Wild Wild West. And please reach out to your recruiters. They're here to help you and guide you because everyone has different interests and different specialties. But we have so many opportunities for you.
Thank you, Adina. That is very true. And if you want to apply, it's conneticsusa.com/apply. Our recruiters are ready to help you find your position in the Wild Wild West. So Rana, you have been here for quite a number of years. We cover a lot of different states with Wild Wild West. Have you been to any of those other states aside from California and Texas?
Actually, yes, Daniel. I've been to Nevada, Utah, part of Arizona, and
yeah,
what
did you like
those places. You can
You've done a lot of traveling, so tell us some highlights about visiting those states.
So so that's what we do every time we're planning a trip. Me and my family, we go to places and then we rent a car and then drive to. For example, we stayed in Las Vegas, but we're not a gambler, like we're cards and all. So what we do, me and my husband, we take our kids to Utah to see Grand Canyon. We drove to Utah to see the national parks there, like the Zion Park, Bryce park there as well. So that's what we do. We want this. We want our kids to see this, wonderful places in the USA. So that's the reason why that's what we do when we're planning a trip. When we're planning a vacation with the kids. So yeah.
I loved seeing those pictures of you and your family going all around the US. Are you guys mainly driving or do you fly to those places?
So when we went to these places in Utah, we flew to Las Vegas and we rented a car and then we drove to Utah. But if we're going to the other side of the USA, which is, for example, Florida, we can just drive for 9 hours. So we love to drive. We love long driving because we see more places when we do that rather than flying.
That's true. You can stop at all the cute little places along the way. But that's great that and Texas is such a central place. So you're able to really get around to a lot of different places.
True.
EJ, have you made use of any travel since you've been here? I know it's only been a couple of months, but have you been able to get out of Texas or see more of Texas?
I've been to here in local Texas. It's Texas is already big for me.
Yeah, Texas is huge.
Yeah,
Where have you been in Texas? What's been your favorite?
I've only been to Houston and Dallas as of the moment, and those are the big cities that really few hours from my place. It is quite nice because it's very different where I live right now. It has small cities. You can actually get to know people here when you get used to it. But when you go to the big cities like Houston or Dallas, there's a lot of buildings, lot of recreational activities that you can do with your friends or families. We visit uh, the Space Museum in Houston, and we do our Airbnb with my friends. It's really nice to have some time off from work and to explore what Texas offer. Oh, rodeo, by the way. You have to see rodeo. Yeah, it's really a thing here in Texas.
Very nice. I love that, EJ. I mean, you could travel around Texas alone and it would take you a little while because it's such a big state and there's so much to see. I was in Dallas last year. Yeah, last year. And I was very impressed by the city. Lots of stuff to do. So many things to do. Massive city. One of my best friends just moved there. I think a lot of people are moving to Texas because it's very affordable cost of living. Which is a big draw for a lot of people. Is that right? I see Rana and EJ both going like this.
Yes, definitely.
That's what's nice about there's a lot of states in the Wild West in the show that have a great cost of living and there's so much opportunity. And I think that's really important when you're immigrating and you're coming to a new place to take into consideration the cost of living and the opportunities. I know in California, it's a great place to live, but it is an expensive place to live. So there are a lot of opportunities. And to Rana's point, one of my bucket list items is to drive across the US. I think there's so much to see, so many cities, so many interesting places. So I love that idea of taking your family and being able to show them everything.
A road trip through the wild, wild west.
Yeah, take the show on the road.
Exactly. We'll do a traveling onwards and upwards show. Have you been to any of those other states that we brought up in the Wild West, Adina?
I've also been to Arizona. I've been to Nevada, some of the same ones. Thank you for putting the map up. I'm like, what was on the map?
What was one of your favorites? Tell us about something that you love in one of those states.
I really liked Arizona. I think it was just really beautiful. It's a different landscape, more of the desert. But it's also just really very beautiful. Tucson with beautiful hikes and mountains. So there's a lot of opportunity to explore. And I really liked it. It was very different to where we live. So it was a unique opportunity.
How does the climate?
A little hot.
Yeah, a little hot. It's the desert, right? So it's going to be very hot during the day, but a little chillier at night.
Yeah. And we were there in the summer, so it was really hot.
Okay. And Cornelia, what about you? Have you been to any of those states on that Wild West map?
I haven't visited other states within the Wild West, but I've been to Florida last year.
Oh,
I
we
went
love
on a
Florida.
cruise. Yeah, but I
Oh,
have
and we love
been, we've
cruise.
been, yeah, we've been exploring San Jose. A few weeks ago, we went to the Computer History Museum, which was really interesting. It made me feel a little old, but it brought back so many memories because it showed like the history of IBM, the internet, and my son was really engaged with the tour guide that came with the ticket when we went there.
Oh.
We also have the Apple Park in Cupertino. There
Mm.
is a really big Apple Cafe and Apple Store
Mhm.
that you can look around, but the office, of course, is for the Apple employees. And then
Mm.
if you want to go to the beach, we have Santa Cruz, which is about 40 minutes away. Or
Mhm.
if you have friends visiting over, you can drive them to San Francisco and see the Golden Gate. So a lot of places to see within my area that I still want to explore because I'm new here. Yeah.
Yeah, as we've been saying, there's so much to do and see just in the places that we live. So many places and not enough time, right?
Yeah,
Cornelia, do
definitely.
you go around with like do you drive or do you use public transportation? What's the transportation like where you live?
Oh, I drive. I have my own car,
Mhm.
but because this is a big city, Silicon Valley, we have a lot of public transportation. Um, in my old place, we don't have Uber drivers because it's a
Mhm.
small town. But in
Mm.
here, you have Uber drivers in every corner. So if you don't feel like driving, you can grab an Uber. We also
Mhm.
have buses. We
Mhm.
have what they call this, the Valley Transit Authority within San Jose. It's like a small railway. And then if you want to go farther outside of San Jose, if you want to go to San Francisco, there's actually BART, which is the Bay Area Rapid Transit that you can take if you want to go a day trip to San Francisco and you don't want to drive because San Francisco is kind of a busy
Mhm.
area because of the tourists. So you have a lot of options in here, and there's not really much traffic in San Jose, Silicon
Mm.
Valley. Yeah.
Mm. Well, that's really good because I can't say the same about Los Angeles, which is where I live. There is a lot of traffic in Los Angeles, and it's definitely a place that you really need a car. There is public transportation, there are bus systems, but it's definitely much more of a self-driving culture. Sounds like in Northern California, there are more public transportation
Yes.
options, but you do still have a car if you're not
Yes.
living in San Francisco because it's a little bit easier.
Yes.
What about in Texas? EJ, do you have a car or do you use public transportation?
I have a car here. I live in a smaller city, so I think a
Mhm.
car is a must in here. There are public buses here, but it takes time for you to wait for the bus, so it is much
Mhm.
better to have a car if you can go to,
Mhm.
so you can go easily to Walmart, groceries,
Mhm.
or you want to go to pharmacy, you want to go to something parks. It is much
Mhm.
more easier and a lot. You have a lot of freedom when you have a car
Mhm.
here.
That makes sense. I think most cities in the Wild West are mainly car-driven cities. So if anybody's watching and they're curious, am I going to be able to get around with public transportation? I think as you can hear from our guests, most of the cities have public transportation, but I think it's probably more car-driven. But there is the option of Uber, as Cornelia mentioned, which might be more or less available depending on cities that you're living in. So I think it just really depends on the transportation. So I'm going to turn to some of the comments. I see we had a couple of comments here for everybody. So let's see. So we have Uttam who is saying hello from India. Hi Uttam, and Walter from Anglo Africa. Hi Walter. I see Nana who just passed the NCLEX. Congratulations, Nana. Is asking if we hire PACU nurses. And then I also saw a question from Kevin asking if we hire ED or OR nurses. Adina, do you want to take that?
Yeah, no, we definitely do. There's a lot of opportunities for you. So please definitely reach out to the recruiters. Danielle had mentioned the website to go on. We're here to help you. There's a lot of wonderful opportunities in different places from a lot of our clients, again, at Connetics and O'Grady Payton, all a part of AMN Healthcare. So we're here to help you. And we're just so excited for you for this wonderful opportunity in all of those specialties.
Thank you, Adina. So I see, and we also have another NCLEX passer, Janice. Congrats to Janice. So like Adina said, if you have passed your NCLEX, you can apply on our website, conneticsusa.com/apply, and our recruiters are on hand and they are waiting and ready to help you. So feel free to go to that website. So let's talk a little bit about the community in the Wild West. So EJ, I know you spoke a little bit about the Filipino community in where you live. Is it a very multicultural area in Temple?
Well, majority of here are white, I would say, but there are also a lot of there's also few people who have came from different nationalities. But I think here in Sao Paulo we are like I would say 60 or 50% are whites, and the rest are different nationalities.
Wow.
Yeah, but when I go to Austin's and Houston's, that's where I see a lot of different cultures, different nationalities. But if you
there
have
is
a family,
pretty big.
I would,
Go ahead.
yeah, if you have a family here, I think yes, a small city like this will be really good for your kids and for you to start living in a new country because you have less, uh, I would say, stimulants or you have less to think about it because you only have the basic needs in here and you can actually go to different parks and cinemas or wherever hobbies you like.
That makes sense. So it probably just depends what a nurse is looking for, right? If they're looking for a more multicultural area, they're probably going to find that in some of the bigger cities. And if they're looking for a slower pace of life, potentially a little bit less multicultural, that might be in a smaller city. What's your experience been like, Cornelia? Is it very multicultural where you live?
Yes, what I notice is there are a lot of Asians here in Silicon Valley, probably because of the tech industry here. And for Filipino communities, there are a lot of Filipinos in the Bay Area. If I want to go to, let's say, Jollibee or Max's, which are very iconic Filipino restaurants, Milpitas is just 10 minutes away. We also have Seafood City, which is an Asian grocery store. We have a Japantown in San Jose, so also Japanese community. It's just so diverse, and personally, I feel at home because of the Filipinos around me most of the time. Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear that you feel at home. It's nice when you leave your home country and you don't feel like a fish out of water, if you guys know that saying, where you just kind of feel like, I don't know where I am, because it's really that support network that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable when you arrive. I know for myself, when I moved originally to California, we moved to a city that had a huge South African community, which is where I'm originally from. And that community support was very important for my family. We moved away from our family. We had no family coming with us. It was just my parents and my younger sister. And having that support community really made a big difference for us when we made that big move. Rana, how did you go about finding a support community when you moved to Texas or even California? Did you find that support community? Did you look at, places of worship or for other, multicultural communities? Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Yeah, sure, Daniel. So when I came here to the USA, to California, I lived in Daly City, so I totally agree with Cornelia that it's really a lot of Asians there. So I never felt it was an easy adjustment for me. And my whole family was also there. So it was an easy adjustment for me. The support system is there. My parents, my relatives are there. So when I going to compare that to Texas, since Texas is a very big state and everybody's scattered, so you won't see much Asian, but actually when you go to the Asian town, you'll see them there. You see your people
Community.
came from the same country where you came from. And that we also have a Korean town here. So, it's just that you have to drive like 30 plus minutes to get there. Compared to California, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're there already. There's a lot of options if your cravings for your Filipino cuisine or Chinese cuisine, those Asian cuisines. But here in Texas, you're gonna have to drive a little bit further because of for that reason. So, but here in Texas, it's very diverse state also because everybody's here. Like you see people came from different countries and they're all very nice actually. That's I have nothing to complain about that. They're all very nice. People are very nice here in Texas. So
Well,
I just
we love to hear that.
Yeah.
yes
I wanted
I
I wanted
just
to
went back
I wanted
to
to add that I think we put a lot of time, like with Rana and onboarding and with business development, into finding and into helping you find those communities, because it is hard. It's exciting and it's a huge adventure to come to the US, but it's also really nerve-wracking, and you're leaving your friends and you're leaving your family and everything you know so well. So I know the onboarding team tries really hard to be able to find that outreach and find those communities, as well as our team on business development, to really help you get integrated. And it's such a huge part, because we want you to succeed professionally and clinically, but just as important is personally, and when you feel secure and you feel comfortable and having people that you know and communities around you, you can, you feel better and you feel more at home and not a fish out of water. So just want you to know that you have such support from AMN, and to be able to find those communities and find that outreach. And every city is different across the US. Everyone has different programs and different Filipino associations, but there's so many opportunities, and we try really hard to make sure that you are connected.
right.
Very well
Wherever you go,
said.
yeah, wherever you go, there's always like a community from your own country. That's why that's what we provide when the nurses gets to our face, and we give them all these supports for them to find their own community. So they get meet together at where they worship, or the groceries for them. If they're cravings for their home country meals, they can go to that store, or and they find friends. They find new friends here in the USA, and that's what we want. That's our goal for them.
Thank you for sharing that, Rana and Adina. That is all very true. I think it's very important that you find a good fit that matches you professionally, but also a good fit that's going to match you personally. You want to feel comfortable where you're going. You want to feel supported where you're going. I was actually just thinking, and Rana, maybe you can tell everybody about this, one of our programs, one of our support programs, but Cornelia and EJ are actually a part of our Connetics Angel Network, I believe. So Rana, can you tell our viewers a little bit about some of those support programs, including that Connetics Angel Network? What is that?
Our Connetics Angel Network is actually available for all nurses who reach their 6 months period here in the USA. So our coordinator there is Rainy Kakpal. So she's the one who actually gonna reach out to you all to talk about our Connetics Angel Network. So our Connetics Angel Network is a program for all nurses that are if you want to be part of it, you can actually help your co-nurses who just came here to kind of like going through some struggles, like trying to adjust here in the USA, who's having a hard time adjusting to the USA. So maybe you could share your experience to them in order for them to get through this period of time where they're missing their family probably, or they're having a hard time clinically, maybe you could share your experience with them once you become part of this Connetics Angel Network. And once you become an angel, that's what actually what you're gonna do for these nurses that are just newly arrived nurse here in the USA. So sharing your experience to them clinically and living in the USA for the amount of time that you were already here, that will help them a lot to cope up and adjust easily here in the USA. So yeah, and Rainey, our coordinator, will tell you more about the program as well once she reach out to all the nurses that have reached their 6 months period.
That's right, Rana. So that is a mentorship program that is unique to Connetics, and we have seen a lot of success with the Angel Network. It's been going on for a long time. Cornelia and EJ, as part of the Angel Network, I'm curious what you've shared with nurses. And maybe let's talk to you, Cornelia, first about what you've learned about. Let's talk about schooling. What have you learned about schooling? You mentioned that you have a son. What have you shared with other Connetics nurses that you've met?
For newly arrived nurses here in the US, so you will get assigned to that particular nurse, and then I would help them first find an apartment. And if they have kids, I will look for the nearest school where they live so that it's an easy transition. So every district has what do you call this? Assigned school to that area, so it wouldn't be really hard for nurses who come with kids in the United States.
So nurses who move to the United States, they will get free schooling through the public school system, and they will get schooling based on where they live, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And nurses have the option of paying for a private school, but thankfully the US education system is really good. Obviously, schools vary depending on area, but generally the public school system is really amazing, and you will be zoned for whatever school is going to be the area that you're going to be living. EJ, what advice do you have for parents with respect to schooling and getting their kids in school when they arrive?
My wife and kids are still in the Philippines, but my coworkers, they have kids here and they started schooling, I think this semester. So getting to know which area will you be located and having already a plan when the school semester starts, what are the requirements, those vaccines. You can actually go city, uh, to the city officers. They would really help you a lot to give all the resources you need, the requirements for your child to be applied in a public education system. And there's also a lot of Filipinos talking about now, and we gave some information so that can easily we have like a group chat messenger for our community here, so it's much more easier now for nurses who have kids because they can give personal advice, where to get vaccines, what are the requirements for the semesters, and all like that.
Oh, that sounds amazing and so useful to have that group messenger so everybody can share all of the tips and tricks that they learn as they come here. Did you have anything similar to that, Cornelia, when you arrived, or what kind of support network did you have when you arrived?
I can say it's a very strong support network when I went with Connetics, because even before arriving in the United States, we do have that group chat. And there will be nurses who will be flying first before others, so they will put their insights. So I went here, I went there, this is the best thing to do for this one. So we are not like we are not groping in the dark when we come here. We are prepared with so much information that there's basically no fear as upon arrival in the United States, because you have a strong support group.
That's so good to hear, Cornelia, and makes me so happy. I can see Adina also smiling.
I'm
So
happy
happy
to hear
and
that.
relieved to hear that. I think for a lot of the Connetics team, a lot of us are immigrants. So we have also been through this process of moving to the United States. And it's a very exciting one, as I'm sure EJ and Cornelia and Rana and Adina can all attest. But it's also extremely scary, especially if you're coming with kids. You're uprooting your family, and it can be a totally different experience. And to have that support network is so important to have that in place. Rana, what do you tell nurses who are getting ready to prepare to come and they're worried about, will I have that support network, and how do I find that support network? What would be your advice for them?
So Danielle, we have this circle of supports that we provide to our nurses before they come here to the USA. So what we advise them is to look through those lists and to give them like, a little bit of information of, like when it comes to finding a house, or like what you see on the screen,
What about the clubhouse? That's one
the
of my first
clubhouse.
questions.
Yes,
What's
the clubhouse. The clubhouse that we do every month helps them a lot as well, because we have some guests there also that share their experience, share their knowledge. Like before coming here to the USA, this is what you need to prepare. You can look through this link to find your house. And also like what Cornelia said and EJ, it's good to have that group chat of nurses who are already here, because they could share, oh, I live here because it's zoned to a good school. I came here with my family, and this apartment complex is zoned to a good school. So try to find a house here, or an apartment unit here, and see maybe it will fit you. Or if there's no more available, then there's another apartment complex here that also zoned to that good school. So that really helps them a lot to prepare before coming here to the USA. So these are very very helpful for nurses that coming here with their kids. So and also some nurses prefer to come here first before they send before their family. So that's another options for them, because they want to see the place first, which is also a good option for them to they want to see the place first before they ask their family to, okay, you guys are ready to come here, I already bought a house, which is it's really nice to hear them saying that, like after a year of working here in the USA, they already bought a house. So which is another good to be zoned to a good school, close to the grocery shopping, close to the hospital. So yeah, so it really helps a lot, that support system that they have. So
thank you, Rana. That definitely makes sense. All of that is such good advice for our nurses. And I'm sure a lot of people are watching, and you touched on housing. And I'm sure a lot of nurses are watching and wondering, what's going to happen with housing? How does that work? Am I just going to, touch down at the airport and fend for myself? What's going to happen? So Adina, maybe you can talk a little bit about housing generally.
Yeah, no, we're here to help you. We have a wonderful concierge program and community liaison. All the different facilities do have different nurse packages, and there is a different housing component. But in general, we're here to help you and get you temporary housing, and then be able to show you around to the different areas, so that way you can get some more permanent housing. There's a lot of different options, Airbnbs and apartments, but our whole team is here to help you and make sure that you have someone to hold your hand and that you can come and get settled easily.
Thank you, Adina. And I see somebody, Melody said, Adina, I like your smile, which is so sweet. Adina, I like your smile too. It's very comforting.
My cheeks with my dimples.
I think Adina's right when she says that we really want to make sure our nurses are set up. So with Connetics, we are direct hire. So that means that you will be the employee of the hospital or healthcare facility that you're going to be working for. And every hospital has a different nurse package. So every hospital is going to offer you something different, which is why it's important to make sure that you understand your offer and you know what's being given to you. But one of those components is going to be some kind of housing. So you are going to be able to look at that, look at the cost of living, compare that. You know, we're talking about a lot of different states here with the Wild West, but the United States in general is a huge place. There is a lot going on. There's a lot of different affordability, housing costs, all of that kind of stuff to take into consideration. But if you are watching and you're concerned about housing, don't worry. The Connetics team is here for you. We are here to help to make sure that you are set up. And if you are inspired by our show today, our recruiters are on hand and they are excited and ready and waiting to take your applications, conneticsusa.com/apply. So please feel free to go ahead and use that link. I see we had a couple of questions about hiring. What KK said, what is the minimum years of experience that you require before one starts the journey with Connetics? What KK, for most employers, they would like to see 1 to 2 years of experience, but we do have some employers that will take a new grad or some employers that will take a nurse that has a gap in experience. It's just going to kind of depend. And, you know, kind of a bittersweet part of the current immigration processing is that you also will have some time in that immigration process to also add years of experience to your nursing background. So there is also that to take into consideration, but your recruiters can talk a lot more about that with you. And then I see Jamie said, are you hiring nurses from the Caribbean? Yes, Jamie, we are hiring nurses from all over. So wherever you are living, if you are interested in applying, please apply on our website. We have opportunities in every state. As you can see, this is a big map of the United States. It's a big place. There is a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different places to live and visit, as you've heard on this show today. So please go ahead and apply, and our recruiters are going to be excited and happy to help you. So we are almost closing out on our show today. So I want to give everybody a final moment to give a piece of advice. You know, is there anything that you wish you would have known before you came to the US? Something you wish someone would have told you, or just any advice that you have generally for nurses who are watching around the world? Let's start with you, Cornelia.
Thank you. I would advise anyone who's interested coming to the United States to go ahead and grab the opportunity. Don't be afraid of retrogression. You have to be prepared if the US opens again for nurses. You wouldn't regret it. And if you're already assigned to a certain city and you have fears of coming into a completely new environment, you can always go to YouTube. I used to watch actually vlogs from the place where I'm supposed to go, so it wouldn't feel very much different. And so, yeah, just grab the opportunity. And if you don't know how to drive yet, make sure you get driving lessons in your country so that it wouldn't be so hard for you to get your license in the United States, because it's almost always a necessity to drive around.
I think that is such good advice, Cornelia. And I love what you said about watching videos about where you were going to live. I was talking to one of our nurses who told me that she used to look on Google Maps at the area that she was going to be living. And she would just kind of scroll around there and be able to see the hospital and where she was going to be living. And that made her feel so much more comfortable. So I think that is such great advice to our nurses. EJ, let's turn to you.
Like what Granny just said, it's like there are a lot of good resources now on YouTube, bloggers, Filipinos or different nationalities that give you like an insight of what looks like in your facility will be and how to live there and what is life in there. And also try to find connections with your common nationalities who live also in nearby, like the Connetics that they have. They can give you resources that will help you when you get here. And just continue the dream, the American dream. And I would say that there's a lot of things that this is my first time working outside my country, and it really opened my mind to a lot of things that we have a lot of opportunities here, not just becoming registered nurse, but there's a lot of areas of different stuff that you can do for your career, that you can do for yourself, you can do for your family. You just have to take a little more faith. I know that there's retrogression everywhere, but it's just like a preparation for you guys to be in here.
I think that is such good advice, EJ, especially the last thing that you said about there is retrogression, but it just gives you more time to prepare to be here. I think that's such a positive way at looking at what's happening. And retrogression doesn't mean that anything is stopping. It just means that there is a delay. So we are going to get you here. You're going to still go through the same process. We can still file you. There is just a slight delay right now. But every month we pray and hope for an update from USCIS. We have our immigration shows once a month. So make sure to check those out. And every month we all keep our fingers crossed for some movement on the visa bulletin. Adina, what final piece of advice do you have for our nurses?
I think that I really just want to make sure you know that we really care. We're really devoted to you. We genuinely want to help you and take care of you. We've put a lot of time and effort into our programming, into our process. We are so experienced and you're in such good hands. So we just are excited for the opportunity, but I genuinely want to just get my point across that you're taken care of, you're helped, you're guided, and you'll find the lid for your pot. Everyone's different. Everyone has different needs, but there's so much opportunity, and we're just so excited that you're here, that you're listening, that you're learning, and the American dream is waiting for you.
That was so beautiful, Adina, and so genuine. And I think Adina really speaks for all of us at the Connetics team. We truly do really love working with our nurses. A lot of us, this is a second or third or fourth career. And for a lot of us, we decided to do this because we are so passionate about it. And I hope that passion shines through every week that we do those shows. Rana, any final piece of advice?
Yes, Danielle, I just want to say, once the opportunity there, grab it. Stick to your plan, stick to your goal. Don't let that retrogression stop you. This is your dream. It just give you more time to prepare, so which is good. And do your own research as well about, once you already know where you're going, do your own research about that place. Study about, how's the living there, the cost of living there, and how you're going to bring your family there. So, and learn how to drive. It's really, really important here in the USA that you know how to drive. So, yeah, that's all.
Good final pieces of advice for Rana. And as everybody on this panel has said, follow your dreams. America is waiting for you. Don't let retrogression scare you. I see we have nurses watching literally from all over the world. We have Jasmine from Australia, Joy from the Philippines. We have Bessem from the UK. So we have nurses from all over, and the US is waiting for you. We are all here We are excited for you to follow your dream, reach your American dream, and Connetics and AMN are here to support you along that journey. So thank you so much to my guests today. You were all amazing and had such good advice for all of our nurses watching, gave great insight into the wild, wild west and what life is like. So if you were inspired by any of the stories that you heard here today, you can apply on our website, conneticsusa.com/apply, and our recruiters are going to be ready and excited and waiting to help you. So at the beginning of our show, we announced that we were going to have an IELTS raffle winner announced. So we're going to announce that winner. This person is going to get their IELTS exam paid for by Connetics. So that's a very, very exciting opportunity that we give Connetics nurses. I think we have a graphic with the name of that person. So Marie, congratulations. We are going to pay towards the cost of your English exam. Our team will be in touch with you to coordinate that with you, but congratulations. That is a really nice benefit of being a part of the Connetics family. We have our future onwards and upwards schedule. So let's go ahead and pull that up. So on November 17th, we're going to have an immigration Q&A. We're going to be fingers crossed for some good updates for everybody with the retrogression and the visa bulletin. And we have our career day on December 1st. So those are our future onwards and upwards show. Remember, career day is like speed dating. So you're going to find out all about the different employers that we have that are hiring. We also have our Connetics College every Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific. With our partners, Aspire RN, Swoosh, iPass, and 9.09ers. Those are free classes through our Connetics live show to be able to take. And we also have our Connetics initiatives. So we have that free English scholarship for all Connetics nurses. And we have our referral program. So that's also a big initiative. If you refer a nurse with NCLEX, you can get a $500 referral bonus. So you can go to our website to avail yourself of that referral bonus. Don't miss your opportunity to make a little bit of extra money and refer your friends to Connetics to help them go through the journey. We also have our podcast, Nursing in America. We have our direct hire program, our Onwards and Upwards live show every week, our Connetics College every week, and we are also hiring for Allied. So if you are any of those allied professions, please feel free to go to our website, and our allied healthcare recruiter is going to be ready and available to help bring you to the United States. So thank you everybody for your time today. It was such a fun show. Love talking to you all and hope everybody around the world found this to be useful information. And we look forward to welcome you all into the United States. Onwards and upwards, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.